What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 84 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy these podcasts, please share the link with your friends. If you'd like to support our work with people caught in the snare of addiction, homelessness, or incarceration around the world, click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled Old Habits in a New Season. Welcome back to episode 84 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast entitled Old Habits in a New Season. Today's episode will be another group session, and you know how much I love my guys from U.S., South Africa, and Australia for participating in this group. So, guys, we'll jump right in. For this episode, I've got this quote to ask you guys. We can't bring old habits into a new season. So, I'd really like you to share about the old habits that you needed to break or end in order to establish recovery. So, Gary, you want to get us started? Sure, David. I found that my long-held habits were the toughest challenge to deal with in my recovery. Quite frankly, there's no easy way to tackle it, as many bad habits are so entrenched that they're almost automatic in nature. And there's nothing that precedes the action or reaction, and it takes conscious effort to bring these bad habits to an actual decision-making process in my mind. Let me give you an example. I had a habit for many years, and that was that I would take more than I would give to people in my personal life, my business life, and more than that, I prided myself at being really good at it. Even if someone suffered a loss as a result of my actions, it didn't even cross my mind. I needed to always win at almost any cost. Honestly, David, sitting here today, by God's grace, I've experienced a 180-degree turnaround, and I've adopted a new way of thinking. I've experienced a renewal or transformation inside me. I now find joy in giving or in serving others and not really expecting anything in return. It's all about the feeling I get from helping others who really need it. I guess I found the only way to remove a bad habit is to successfully replace it with a good habit to sort of fill the void that's left behind, or else the bad habit will likely return. And it's my faith that's given me the will, the commitment, and the courage to change my bad habits into good. Wow. Thanks, Gary. That's a great start. How about you, Harry? You got any bad habits you'd like to share with us? David, I had to cut ties with quite a few bad habits. The first one was the biggest and worst habit, and it's the lies I used to tell. I used to be a pathological liar in the past, and speaking the truth was very difficult for me, or even really embarrassing. And the second thing I had to change as far as a bad habit was my way of speaking. I used to swear and curse a lot with the F word in like all my sentences. And my third habit was that I had to give up the games that I loved, darts and snooker. I was passionate about these games, and the only places I'd go to play them were in pubs or other places that really weren't the best places for a person in recovery. So I guess what I'm saying is I had to change my social network to avoid those who used to drink alcohol, or change my places and friends and find new safe places to go to. Thanks for that, Harry. It's sort of like saying a combination of people, places, and things, but also really it's more of a deeper lifestyle. Dante, do you agree with that? David, yeah, for me, it was lifestyle. I had to stop my spending time with certain friends who no longer shared my same values. And that was hard. I could feel part of my life drift away, but in reality, it was the part I needed to lose in order to find my way in my new life and my new faith. I very much wanted to fit in, and I'm a guy who wants to be well liked by others. And that would often lead to peer pressure, and soon I'd be heading down a path of unhealthy behavior. So I really needed to change that lifestyle habit. And another big habit for me was watching television or spending time, just staring at it. And I had to remove myself from that and focus on reading more of the Bible, connecting with God. I found reading was a very helpful way to channel my mind properly and not drift into another area of life that could lead me down the path of past addictions. Dante, that's really key wisdom there to be able to know when we're falling even into new habits, whether or not they're going to lead us down that wrong path. Thanks for that wisdom. Eddie, what would you like to add? David, once I'd been prayed for and accepted that my healing and breakthrough only came through Jesus, I knew that everything about me had to change. I mean, everything. You see, I was a party animal, and I would go or do anything for a party. So, first things first, I had to change who I called friends. I committed to making my wife and family my friends and my only supporters. Whew, that was hard, but once that was done, the rest was easy. So everything I spoke about in my life going forward was only about growth and prosperity of spirit, body, and mind. And I stayed in the Word of God, almost like watering myself daily. I took back my life and made a decision to be the father and the husband my family deserved. Eddie, that is a huge step, and I appreciate your openness and honesty there. Ike, what are you learning in your new time in recovery here? Well, David, I've been battling this for years, so over the years of being in and out of recovery, I found out there's so many triggers, the things that would make me want to use again. And so for me, the bad habit that I needed to eliminate was anything that I could think of that might trigger me. For example, being sober, I had to eliminate my time, my idle time. Whenever I find myself with too much time to waste, I get bored, and then I end up using. So I have to focus on a good habit to do with my time. And I also have to pick my jobs wisely, because when there's money to be made, I still am not at a point of trusting myself. So, it's my time, it's my money, and it's my friends. Because really, the only friends I had were my friends because they were high. So these are very harsh decisions and sacrifices, but I'm adamant to clear the path of my road to recovery. Wow, that is huge. And I like your determination, and I know that's going to inspire others just trying to start their recovery. Charlie, did you have to do anything as far as habits? David, wow, I got a long list for you. So I had a whole bunch of bad habits that had no business in my new life. So here you go. My first one was I had no regular sleep patterns. I lived life wide open. And so how do I go ahead in life when I realized that I'm just sleeping day and night. So I had to connect with God, find a new spiritual wake time, and function in wellness and feel good mentally and physically. And it really was my first step of self-care in my recovery. The second habit I had to break was procrastination. I would always wait till the last second to get into everything. It kept me irritated and overwhelmed. So now I operate with order and process. I plan and prepare and focus on the days because I know I'm prepared. My third, it's hitting the ground running. I used to hit the alarm, hit the bottle, hit the floor, and then hit the door. Now I slow down. I talk to God first. I spend quiet time, and I focus on positive self-talk to get my day started. The next one, I used to only read porn magazines and sports articles. Those were my only two topics. So obviously I couldn't carry those into my recovery. Now I focus on reading the Bible, the Big Book, and other teachings that are around self-help and can help me and others. And along with reading, I had to change the movies and the stuff that I watched on TV, because I would only be watching like gore and killing movies. And so I just had to stay away from that and replace it with uplifting, loving messages that I'm putting into my mind. And speaking of messages, my next one was I had to change my language. Just like Harry, I was constantly swearing, complaining, putting people down, talking negatively about myself and my habit. Now I'm slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to become angry. I really try to capture any negative thought or feeling before I put it into words. So another habit, I guess, to sum everything up, is really the habit of reacting to everything. And I would just like jump in and try to fix things, impose my will, change situations immediately, and sort of be in control and feel like I was in control. Now I practice the pause. I study situations, I rely on peer support, and accept that some things are better actually just the way they are. And so I'm living life on life's terms instead of my terms. And you know what? That's a better way to live. That's a better new habit to have. Wow, thanks a lot, Charlie. That's a long list, but a good laundry list for people to check off as they look at their habits. Ben, would you like to close this today? Sure, David. I've heard people say you've got to change people, places, and things. On both sides of the table, I've heard folks say that works for them, and other people say it doesn't work. I'm on the side of the table that believes it does work. However, the changes inwardly in your emotions, the thought processes, and other things like that, if they've not changed, it doesn't matter what changes you make on the outside. I think if the inside is the same, then you're set up to just keep doing the same things. And on a personal note, I had to let go of a lot of friends that I really enjoyed being around. The funny thing is, they were not extremely unhealthy, but it was permissible for them to do whatever they wanted, and they would get me entrapped. So anyway, in a nutshell, I stand here grateful for this recovery journey that I'm on. And to be honest, my best friend and almost only friend now is really my wife. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I have relationships, but they have a goal in mind, whether it has to do with my music, my ministry, or some collaboration that we're working on together, rather than just hanging out and getting into trouble. I guess you could say I just don't hang out anymore. So if you and I cannot achieve something together to help bring someone else to a better place in life, I really don't have time for it anymore. I'm so busy now with music and ministry that I really can say all I want to do at the end of the day is go home, sit with my wife, eat some fantastic cooking of hers, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Wow. Thanks, Ben. That's a great way to close this. I think we all need to take a look at what we're all okay with. And I'd like to close with a quote from a song by Ed Sheeran called Bad Habits. So here we go. Every pure intention ends when the good times start. Falling over everything to reach the first time spark. Started under neon lights and then it all got dark. I only know how to go too far. My bad habits lead to late nights, ending alone, conversations with a stranger I barely know, swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do. Shaw, that's deep. Are you ready to leave your bad habits behind and know that you can't carry them with you into your recovery? Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's encouragement from our group. I want to give a special shout out to my listeners around the world. All of you there. I'm planning my trips for 2022. So whether you're in Guam, England, Ireland, Iraq, or anywhere in the world, I'm speaking to you. If you would like me to come to your country, please message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com or go to my website www.fromatod.org and click on the contact page. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.